Two videos today because I think I need to catch up with a couple, so I may as well start now. Studying's been going well. I feel like I'm making a lot of advances in sci-fi. Definitely learning about functionality is I'm undertaking a whole new approach to that. So, and I'm learning a lot of things. Coming up with a lot of new little systems that I can use. Coming up with a lot of little kind of repeatable techniques that I can use that apply to a wide range of sci-fi things. So, that's very useful, like widely applicable, widely applicable forms, widely applicable little bevels, cut lines, that kind of thing that you can apply to a wide variety of sci-fi objects. Learning all that kind of stuff has been very, very useful. Yeah, man. I think today I was studying like cars and the kind of forms and shapes of cars, which was fun, And then I went on to study some Mike Mignola. I'm not really sure how to say his name, but the way he draws faces is really interesting. The way he simplifies the features. I think there's a lot to learn there, especially the way he does the nose. I've always had trouble with kind of quick sketching out the nose, so that's been useful. How to kind of like quickly do the nostrils, that kind of thing. And his the way he does it can be like his method can be extrapolated, if that makes sense, to other kinds of nose and other kinds of facial feature, which is very useful. And yeah, I think studying from the greats is definitely, everyone already knows it. It's a very good way of studying, right? If you look at some of the great artists, you can, even from one piece of theirs, you can draw out so much information about the process and how they think about painting and how they go about image creation. I think Mike Mignola is someone that I definitely want to do more study of. The way he simplifies the shadow shapes can be very useful. Also, what I want to study is high contrast in shadows and light, so like very dark shadows and very and much brighter highlights. I think the contrast in an image is something that I really enjoy looking at personally. High contrast, that is. And so I think that being able to implement very dark shadows, which I don't normally do, if there's any kind of darkness, it will normally be coming from ambient occlusion rather than an actual dark shadow itself, right? Normally I just do very soft kind of mid-tone form sculpting rather than getting the shadow shapes in first. So I think there's a lot of comic artists that are really skilled at using very dark shadow shapes, so I'll definitely look at some of them. There's one artist that I've been looking at very, very recently. I can't remember his name, but he does a lot of like Batman illustrations, and the way he renders anatomy and renders clothes as well is very interesting and very high contrast, but he still manages to make the image look three-dimensional without it looking like it's splitting up into shapes. He does make the form read very clearly, which is something that I want to be able to learn, because right now I can render forms pretty effectively, but that's in the context of relatively ambient light. And to be honest, I do think that there is more opportunity for detail in form when using ambient light, but again, that contrast of value that you get when you use very harsh dark shadows can't really be beat. It's a really aesthetic, like visually appealing thing to look at, visually striking thing to look at. So that's definitely something that I want to learn how to do better. Because right now I've been giving it a go, but it's not really successful. The forms aren't really reading, it's more like shapes, which is something that I'm going to try and avoid in the future. Physical training has been going good. Just trying to keep blood in the quads, really, because that's my main focus right now with the front squats. And Hindu squats are really good. My technique on them is really improving. If I have naturally very accentuated anterior pelvic tilt, right? And so I've found that while doing Hindu squats, if I try and actively correct that, so I no longer have that anterior pelvic tilt while I'm doing the actual motion, that much more of the focus gets sent into my quads rather than my glutes, which is, for Hindu squats, which is something that I'd quite like to be able to get the most out of in terms of how difficult they are. Because I mean I could do a set of 30 Hindu squats with like form that looks from the outside perfectly fine, but me on the inside, I'm feeling it much more in my glutes than my quads, because naturally I'm a more bent over kind of squatter, right? Just how my body's built. I've been following Ivan Jurek recently, and he's been doing almost exactly the same stuff. I was doing front squats, and then I think he started doing front squats very soon after, which was it's been enjoyable to kind of follow him doing that while I am at the same time. I mean, he has like insane numbers, not insane numbers, but just way higher numbers than I do. So it's very entertaining to watch him. Well, the reason I started Hindu squats is because Ivan started implementing Hindu squats into his training also. Yeah, man. Hindu squats are very good for getting blood into the quads. My quads are definitely growing. I want to make sure that I don't become quad dominant now, because while I do understand that my posterior chain is my strong point, it's not necessarily the hamstrings that are the strong point of my posterior chain. It's more my lower back and my glutes, right? So my hamstrings often get left by the wayside, which I'm trying to counter by doing good mornings with very strict form, very straight legs. But it's not easy, especially when you're doing heavier weights, to keep that strict straight leg position. Maybe after I've reached a certain number in front squats, I'll switch over to a good morning focus, start training them before the front squat in my programming, so that I can give the quad some time to rest, I guess. Kind of like the posterior chain is doing now. So yeah, training's going well. I'm not in the gym every day because my knees are feeling pretty beaten up right now. I have pretty relatively strong knees. I squat ass to grass. There's always a lot of pressure on them. So I think that maybe doing heavy front squats every day isn't really the best idea. So I left the gym today and just did Hindu squats instead, intermittently throughout the day, just to keep blood in them, to keep recovery at a maximum. And yeah, that's basically it. More study of comic artists tomorrow, more study of Mike Mignola, I'm not sure how to say it. And obviously more sci-fi study. I did some thumbnails today. I have to do a lesser number of thumbnails for next week's class, which frees up more time for study around the actual coursework, which in turn should hopefully improve the quality of the coursework. So yeah, it's all going good. Tomorrow I think I'll focus a little more on the actual sci-fi studies rather than the comic art stuff that can that can wait till after the course, I think. But still, it's important to, you know, mix up your day, mix up the studies so you don't get bored. Always keep an open mind, that kind of thing. And yeah, that's it. Bye.